You are about to witness history in the making.
Take two, and welcome to Pop Culture Gamers. I'm Steve for this evening as your host, and Haydn, of course. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Steve. I'm really glad that you've loaded Audacity up this time when we're starting the podcast.
Yeah, it was best to, isn't it?
It would do, because otherwise it'd be a very one-sided conversation.
And also we wouldn't get a lot out, because we wouldn't be doing the second hit of this, I know that for sure.
No, that's true, because we're up against time at the moment.
That's it.
Pressures of lives and works and wives and that sort of thing.
Yes, that's correct. Anyway, so I'll just jump in quick, so I haven't got a lot to talk about. But really, so I've been on call for 2 weeks this month with a break in the middle of it. Just covered Chris's call up, by the way, Hayden, so he's back to work today, hopefully.
Welcome back to work, Chris.
So I'm sure he's loving that.
I'm sure he is. I know what it feels like to go back after any time off, even a day off, and it's worse than that feeling of going back to school after 6 weeks.
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway, so this week's going to be is my countdown for my 2 weeks off.
Woohoo!
So it's going to be a bit of a busy week. I've got to go to Cornwall for 2 nights. I've got to stay away for Thursday, Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and back home hopefully Friday night.
Yeah, everybody else is always sent to Coventry. You're sent to Cornwall.
I know, it's just as bad probably. So yeah, that'll be fun. Really, not a lot going on. I've got some chat about my Xbox in gaming. Destiny 2, of course, which we've been hammering. What else? There isn't a lot else, really. I think that springs to mind. I mean, we're a late recording. I was late home from work, so it's really been a bit mishmashy today, but I'm sure we'll get around it. So, how's your week been? Because mine's been chaotic.
Well, last week was the first week back at work after being off for a fortnight, so it was a very, very, very long week, as you can imagine. But I have been finding out a bit more about my transfer in terms of my job, so hopefully that's ebbing its way a little bit closer and closer on a day-to-day basis. So I'm looking forward to having a change. I've been in the same job for 6 years, so you need to do something a bit different every now and again, or certainly in my line of work.
Well, considering I've been in the same job for about, I don't know, 15, 20, 15, it seems like about 15 years, I think, but there you go.
Well, when I worked for the police, I was in the same job for like 15 years as well, but
yeah.
I don't know, this isn't going along to my 2-year plan, because, when I came to work where I do now, it was like in 2 years, I want to be moving on. Here I am 6 years later.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, so that's that's not going to plan, so, there would be no cigars and saying I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
But, c'est la vie. So this week, preparing to get ready for Insomnia this weekend. No, it's like the just general gaming and podcasting and not podcasting, YouTuber and
oh right, I'm with you now.
All of that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And so one of the things I've been doing for when we go, that's me, my wife, my son, and our babysitter, is been getting us T-shirts. That's
right. Yeah, I saw the couple of them there online, looking at some what you were getting.
Yeah, so I did design one, and it came out all right. I just really wasn't very pleased with it. The colours weren't quite as poppy as I wanted them to be, and just the general design, because it's like, was a long banner sort of thing going across the chest. So I've done a bit of a redesign, so we're going to have 2 design T-shirts to go.
Yeah, well, say that second design was much better, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, and, ended up having a couple of orders, didn't I?
We did, well, yeah.
For yourself and for Alan as well. Bless him, yeah. I've done a couple of though, so hopefully they'll be arriving in the next couple of days, and I'll get them down to you two guys.
Yeah. Be interesting to see if we do a bit of a fashion show, see if anyone else wants one.
Well, I mean, to be honest, one of the things that we do seriously need to think about in the future is about funding for the show, because I've funded it for this year, but obviously what we're going to do for next year and afterwards.
Exactly.
So one of the things I was thinking of is you can set up stores online that just end up giving you the profit for things like, T-shirts, mugs, stuff like that. So my idea was, if these sort of things look all right and people are interested, we could do like a couple of baseball caps and T-shirts and mugs or whatever.
I love coffee cups. You know me, I've got loads.
Yeah, so, a couple of bits of branded stuff out there, because I know that everybody likes that sort of stuff, don't they?
Oh, exactly.
And as long as at the reasonable price. So, maybe that might be a way that we can fund it, for future years. I don't know, because, I'm not really, I don't want to go down the line of, Patreon and all of that sort of stuff unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah,
but we do have to think, realistically speaking, it does cost money.
Yes, absolutely.
To run the podcast. So, that it's just trying to be creative. Or if we can get anybody who wants to stick an advert in the middle of the show, then that's fine. They can come along and tell us. But, we've got to think about these things in the future. So, but also it's good advertising for us there, because there's going to be like-minded people about. I've got some sort of like prompt cards that I've designed that, if I showed you that picture through, that's just got links to our social media and to the show and all of that sort of stuff as well. So hopefully it'll drum up a bit of interest, because now you don't know this,
go on,
but we are coming to our next major milestone in terms of the popularity of our show, shall we say?
Oh, go on then. Enlighten me, because obviously we haven't had much. Well, I've been busy, so we haven't had a chance to talk much, have we? No.
We are very close to 10,000 downloads.
Wow, that's not bad, is it?
No, that's not bad at all. I'm really quite pleased, because to be honest, I wasn't expecting 10,000 downloads in the year, and we're only 2/3 of the way through the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's wicked. I say thanks to everybody that actually does download it and that does listen, hey?
Yeah, really, really thanks to everybody, and also thanks to everybody as well for the the reviews and the comments that you leave. As well, because it does help, believe it or not, all of the more people that can, leave reviews, especially preferably 5-star reviews, but not begging there. But, anybody who does leave reviews and that, it does help to get you boosted up in terms of your profile and things like that. So for everybody who has done that, because I think on iTunes we've got about 27 reviews now.
No, that's not bad.
So, yeah, so thanks everyone for doing that.
I still call us the little boys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but to be honest, I've been looking into the figures for podcast numbers, and they reckon that if you're on more than a few hundred a week, you're in the, certainly within the top 50% of, podcasts in the country. I mean, obviously, to get, you have to have like thousands and thousands to be in like the top 10%.
Yeah.
But, no, we must be quite high up, generally speaking, which for a new podcast is absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't not been doing it long.
No, only since January, believe it or not.
Is it really? Jesus.
It is. I mean, the fact that we've been doing it, podcasting for years together is, makes it feel like a lot longer for us.
It does, yeah. But because when I was looking back, thinking about how long we've been doing this one, and I was thinking about, someone was chatting to me about podcasts. I said, I've been doing it for about 6 years now, 7 years. That's just ridiculous. Yeah,
and I think this is either my 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah.
So, quite some time. Anyway, so those T-shirts being ordered, they should be hopefully arriving. When I get them, I'll stick a picture on our Facebook and Twitter and all of that sort of stuff, because if people are interested, then we might be able to try and get something sorted out. But what I want to do is get an online store where people can just go to it, order it, and then it's all sorted, rather than
relying
having
on
to
one.
Say,
I know. We've seen others in the past where they say, I want 20. I can get 20 t-shirts, but I need 20 orders beforehand. And if it can be done like on the go by themselves, they can get it ordered. It gets put in the system. That'd be brilliant. They're just like going to Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I want, and there's lots of online places that do that, and that should then, in theory, at least substantially help towards the cost of the show.
Yeah.
So, because, we literally get nothing for this.
We don't get
loads of money.
It's not like we get reviews or anything either, is it? This is literally just us having a chat.
Yeah, we're paying for us to have a chat, basically. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Game-wise, you and I were both been on Destiny and hammering that. We got our legendary armour. Woohoo! And we'll talk about that story later on.
Yeah.
And I've also now started the journey on the PC and the PlayStation.
Glutton for punishment.
Oh, God, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it done in time. Well, not on both systems, but I'm now sort of like, I'm a bit stuck because I wanted to do it on PlayStation, but I'll talk about it later. Movie-wise, I did pick up Beverly Hills Cop trilogy for less than £8. But I also picked up X-Men Apocalypse in 4K as well, so I got that to see yet. And I've also been watching a TV series on Sky, on Sky box sets, called The Leftovers, and also the new series of Better Call Saul as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's my intro.
Something else that's been going on, we haven't really had much to talk about. I mean, it starts tomorrow, believe it or not, and that's Gamescom. Yes,
we haven't done anything about that, have we?
I haven't even heard what's actually happening for Gamescom this year.
Well, I've heard there's going to be a new Xbox controller, new Elite one.
Yeah, I mean, we've been crying out for that, us people with hot hands, should we say?
Yes, well, us people with hot hands who haven't got the scuff grips on.
Yeah. But Microsoft have got a sizable presence there this year. I don't think PlayStation will have much. They normally stay clear of that, don't they?
I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember.
But we'll just have to keep an eye out for in the next week or two when we can report back on what's been happening.
Yeah. So, no doubt there'll be lots of news and that to report next time. I think maybe what we better do is just what we were talking about just before we started recording as well, is just mention about this coming week's show, because of me going to Insomnia and being able to bring stuff to report back, and you've got a family thing going on. What the show will be next week, just like this one, it might be a little bit off tangent than normal. I don't think this time we're going to have enough time to probably do the debate, so we'll hold that for the next one that we can.
Oh God, yeah. Well, we've not got long left as it is when you think about it, but
So the next couple of shows might be a little bit shorter, but it's only just a temporary blip because of life gets in the way. But we want to make sure we get content out to you guys as well.
Absolutely.
So, should we go on to gaming this week?
Yeah, can do.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
No news? Or is it any news?
I don't have any news other than what I've already mentioned, which is there's been reports that at Gamescom we're going to hear about the new Xbox Elite controller. And it had some weird code name as well, which I can't quite remember what it was. But evidently it's had a bit of a redesign. It's got multiple trigger positions as well. So a few different things. I just do hope that they've got rid of the rubber grips on the back.
Who knows? I mean, I haven't seen any actual information out there. It's very quiet at the moment.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I haven't got no news. I did hear a bit of news. I was listening to IGN this morning, and they were chatting about Henry Cavill, aka Superman.
All right.
Being a bit of a gamer.
Well, he's sort of like, I suppose, really, he's at the age where I can imagine that. And he loves
playing The Witcher.
Really?
Yeah, he's finished it a few times, and they were saying that that maybe could he play the lead character in the new series?
He doesn't have the right look.
He hasn't got that rough look, has he? He's too sleek and clean.
I still think that he might, if it's not Tom Hiddleston, I think that he's probably the closest one for Bond, personally.
Yeah, but we're not going to dig up that whole story.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, but no. Okay. So, should we quickly move on to new releases?
Yeah.
Now, I'll do releases and you can do the charts then.
Okay.
Dead Cells, did we put it in last week?
No.
I think, didn't we? Okay. So, for the 17th of the 8th, we've got Dead Cells on the PS4 and the Switch. Also, Hero Defense on the PS4.
Yeah.
For the 21st of the 8th, we've got Guacamelee 2 as a digital, PS4, PC. We've got Mother Gunship, PS4, Xbox One.
I quite fancy that one, actually.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but when I saw a clip of it, I thought, oh, that looks quite tasty.
And one here I forgot all about and weren't even sure when it was coming out. And I know someone in my back of my head is saying that he wanted to play this. We've got Shenmue 1 and 2.
Yes.
On PS4, Xbox One and PC.
Yes, because our listener Nicky got his in the post early.
He did, didn't he?
He did indeed. And evidently there was a day one patch which wiped all of his everything, and there was instructions that you couldn't broadcast it early, otherwise your account would be shut down, and all of this, that and the other sort of stuff. So I think it's been a bit frustrating for him.
Oh, bless him, yeah. So, 24th of the 8th, we've got Punchline on the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. We've got Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, PS4, Xbox One. And last but not least, we've got F1 2018 for PS4, Xbox One, PC from Codemasters, which I'm looking forward to because I love motor racing games.
I think I'd be looking more forward to Warhammer, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, charts.
So, at number 5, a new entry, we have Madden NFL 19. At number 4, down from 3, we have Mario Kart Deluxe. At number 3, up from number 5, is incredibly Grand Theft Auto 5. Who does not own this game? At number 2, staying still, is Lego The Incredibles. And at number 1, we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. So there we go. That's the charts.
Madden NFL, obviously, if you've got EA Access, should be available there.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing. Other than that, really,
the demo will be, but it'll be a couple of months before the full game will be.
Yeah. Well, you'll have your 10 hours, though, wouldn't you, I'd have thought? Yeah.
Well, to be honest, 10 minutes for that would be more than enough for me.
Okay. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Should we let's chat about our gaming, yeah?
Yep. So
seems like we're rocking and rolling through this, like we've been done in 10 minutes.
Well, we are under more compressed time, aren't we? So we'll just see how we
are. Anyway, so before we start talking about Destiny, I want to talk about my Xbox.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on with this, because you've been very evasive and, dodging the dibble in terms of my questions here. when
we last discussed this Saturday afternoon, you were saying, "Oh, you must get it sorted because of the obviously we got Destiny, we got Forsaken coming out in a few weeks."
Yes, indeed.
Which I can't wait for, and there's so much going on with that game. I can't believe it's unbelievable. Anyway, so I just went on my phone and I went on to a virtual chat with a member of, I think his name was Ram, believe it or not. Whether that's his real name or not, I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. Does he have a friend called Bob?
Who knows? It could be Ram, it could be Rom, who knows? So I explained the problem. He didn't understand at first what I was trying to explain. I was saying that, it's been, for the last month or two, it's just been shutting down on its own will and way, especially when you're in a fire team. It's just started a game and it goes, pew! Very frustrating. So I explained to him, I said that, obviously this is under warranty and I really can't have the grief of this going back to be repaired. And he said, I can see a point. And I said, well, how am I going to play my Game Pass? I'm going to have to cancel that otherwise for a while. Anyway, so he came up with a solution. They're sending me a new Xbox.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
the only thing that's we're going to call it a caveat, like a lot of people do these days, but the only thing is that I've used my credit card to attach a payment not in the real world, but it's an imaginary one.
Yeah.
So what happens is, when the new box comes, I will then put the old box in that. They will send me an email to send that away. As long as it's done within the 15 days, don't worry about it.
And if it's not done within the 15 days, then you get stuff for the cost of a new Xbox.
Yeah, but then I've never had an issue boxing up something and sending it away. It's not a bad bit of grief, is it? Do you know what I mean?
And are they sending you a Scorpio edition?
Yes, I said the same one I had. If they don't, I will kick off. But let's wait. I said, I want the same. I've got a Project Scorpio. I want to see. He said, yeah, okay. We'll send what you got back to you, the new one. So new Xbox coming.
Nice.
Hopefully it'll be quieter, because mine's a beast at the moment. It really makes a noise. But I'm just glad that was done within half an hour, just chatting on my phone, on the text.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for that, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, every time I've been in contact with Microsoft for help, they've generally been very good.
Yeah.
Especially things like faulty equipment. They're normally really very good and quite accommodating. So did you use the line of, well, I do a podcast, so therefore I need my Xbox?
No, I didn't even do that bit.
Man, you should have used that. You might have been able to, get you some connections.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens first, because we will be doing the ranting.
Yeah.
But no, so that's really good. So that will mean I can then just do a straight transfer, everything onto there that I need to. The bulk of the games are on 2 hard drives, so they just plug and play. So it should be pretty painless.
That sounds like a good solution.
Forsaken.
Definitely. Definitely sounds like a really good solution for you there. So,
and I'm hoping as well. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get here, but after this week, I'm off for 2 weeks. So the first week I'll be at home. So hopefully that will be. I mean, I might give him a shout and just ask on an ETA.
So what you're going to be doing really then in 2 weeks' time is concentrating on trying to triumph the triumphs, aren't you, on Destiny? The
triumph?
Yeah, the moment to triumph.
Well, let's put it this way. Something else I haven't told you about. I'm about to order a T-shirt.
Oh, I've got that offer as well, yeah.
So that's easier than doing it at the end, isn't it? Because you have to do everything.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my gamer tag on it as well for $5.
Yeah, so am I.
So it was 77,777,077 pence or something like that.
Yeah, then you put in the code.
And it's $35 or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, $29.
Was it 29? Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I was well chuffed about that. That popped up yesterday.
Yeah, I had that pop up for me as well. I think that once you've actually, got to a certain state, and have you masterworked any of your legendary armour yet?
Just me Warlock Bond at the moment.
Yeah, I've just done the Warlock Cloak, to be honest.
For some reason, it wouldn't... I did a heroic, but it didn't log it, so...
You have to do it with a clan member.
Oh, well, that's the next job then.
Yeah.
After
Five of them with clan members.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
As long as it's just 2 of us, that's all right, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we'll just get Prudy in or someone anyway.
Yeah.
So, or Nikki.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah.
He's sitting there on the green armour still, isn't he?
He is. I just want to say a big thanks to Prudy and Nikki for helping us through the Nightfall we did it first time.
That was... Yeah, we did it first time because we stayed in it, but we died about 10 times at the end.
We did it first time.
Yeah, whatever. You always like to have one up.
They had a heavy lifter hunter on the scene instead of a namby-pamby warlock. That's what it was.
Oh, it's actually me that got the kill actually at the end. To be honest, thank you very much.
I heard about that. Nikki told me it was like when there was that one little slither of heavy, he came out and shot it, and then just claimed he killed it.
No, actually, I just dropped my trousers and put my arse in his face. He went, "Yay, I'm tired." But yeah, it was great. We both got that out of the way, so at least we got our purple armour. Which all you need to do for that is obviously to use the Masterworks if you want to.
And but the Masterworks on this works differently because on the Masterworks on the other ones, you've got to have so many of the Masterwork crystal things and other things there. Whereas this one, you have to do set objectives, and then that Masterworks the equipment. So, like for example, 5 heroic strikes with clan members, or doing I can't remember what it was. It was killing 10 mini bosses.
Yeah, that's the one I did straight off the back.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the easiest one to achieve, to be honest, because you just do 5 or 10 strikes and you've done.
Oh, that's it. Not even strikes. I was doing events as well.
Yeah.
Public events.
Yeah.
Well, that counts as well.
Yeah, well, you get the mini bosses in them, don't you? And then you get those yellow shielded ones that appear at random points and drop a chest when you've killed them.
Yeah. Speaking of chests, 62 out of 63 for you and me.
Yeah, and we've both stuck on the same one, and it's going down tonight.
do you know what? Right, yesterday, I actually caned the last planet I needed to do. I had a couple that were sticky because when you're on those sort of platform areas that you're bouncing around trying to find them, there was one there where you go in a circle, platforming up, and then you found a portal that took you through to the to where the chest was.
Yeah, you're talking about the pyramid on I've forgotten what it is, Nessus.
Yeah, that's it. But that was the last planet I did. I did a fair bit. The others were pretty much done, but it was that one I had to do every one. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, actually. It was quite good getting them all out of the way.
Yeah, there's something quite therapeutic about it, but I've still got to go to Mars and kill all of those, destroy all of those, I've forgotten what they called them, memories or whatever they were.
Yeah, I've done 31 or 45, but I had a bit of a wonder, but they're a bit difficult to point out unless you...
you know specifically where they are.
I've got a list, because on the app, it will give you the ones you've done.
Right.
So I've got 2 to find, 11 and 12, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, and so on.
What I quite like about this, though, is that the colour of the damage that you have to use in order to kill them or destroy them. So if it's red, you've got to you use solar, or white for arc and whatever.
And there's another set of ones as well.
Oh, the ones where you have to use a javelin.
Yes.
Yeah, they're a pain.
Which there was one there, the one that was sitting in the tree. Have you got that one yet?
No, I've got the one that's hidden under the bridge.
Right, well, if you come out of the bridge, go back to that tree in front of you. There's one sitting in the arc at the bottom where all the branches stem out. There's one sitting in there. So you want to use one of those events down below you to pick up the javelin and take it out.
Yeah.
As it's right close by. And there was another one that I didn't have a sniper rifle that had arc at one point. I just didn't have one. And there was one that was so far up in like a tower, which was freaking miles away, but I had to go and try and hunt for a sniper rifle to take it out. But yeah, I think we need to go through those as well. There's a load to sort out there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be relatively easy, though. I think you're talking about an hour and a half's job, 2 hours maybe, to get all of them.
Yeah, and YouTube running in the background.
Do you mean in the background? I'll have it in front of my TV on my tablet.
Yeah, so we'll have to go around and just go to every one, see which ones we've got and which you haven't, and go through it.
Yeah.
But I think Bungie really haven't done pretty bad with this this way of doing it now.
No, I like this better than the books.
Yeah,
I just think some of the moments of triumph are really unrealistic. You know, like they're getting to level 50 sort of stuff. That's just, it's ridiculous.
Well, you need it. You know, it's doable if you've got the time.
Yeah, but we don't have the time. That's the point. You know, and it just annoys me that they have put the bar too high in some of them, and it's not because it's difficult to do, because the stuff that's actually there, it's not difficult. It's just a grind. So, you know, you could get to level 50 in the Crucible if you spent 20 hours a day for the next 3 months doing it. Even if you're really poor at Crucible, you could still do it. Yeah. But you can't in the way that, you know, for normal people like you and me, trying to get there, it's pretty unlikely.
When I actually look, if I look back at, so what you've got general activities and events, okay? Yeah. So when I look at general, we've got the fleeting memories to do, and then there was the reaching of 50, rank 50 in season 3, where I'm on rank 14. If we go to activities, we've got the treasure hunter chests, which will be 1 short. Hive extermination on tier 7 on the escalation protocol.
I can't get that. I've tried hanging about people who are just obviously trying to trigger it themselves and just spend hours there, and nothing happens.
I think you've got to be in a fire team to do that, with 6 of you to get into that. Then obviously you got the Emperor to defeat in the raid, and then you have 2 raid layers to defeat as well. So they're pretty tough. And then the last bit is events. Well, they're all done in my book, which probably are with yourself. Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I did.
Yeah, so running of errands, you got orb collecting, missions completed, armor completed, armor upgrades, which is obviously when you're getting the armor we've been dealing with. So I don't think, to be honest, we haven't done bad. I mean, there's a total of 400 points, and if we can get the treasure hunters done, obviously, that just rolls in. Well, for me, it rolls me into 305. So I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. Considering when we started with that, we thought, oh my god, we got no chance. Yeah, I suppose. We'll just have to see. Yeah, but those that have completed it 3 times, my god, they don't have lives.
No. They're called single men and kids.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way that you could do that, to be honest. It's the only way you could do it. it's just not realistic for people like you and me who are, working.
Yeah.
So what's your base light level now then?
As I look on the companion, I'm 395.
Ditto.
You were saying, yeah? And what was handy was that the armour we got was you could get to 405.
Yes.
With a mod.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm dropping now, blues are dropping at 380, something like that now.
I've had ones. I've had purple ones dropping higher than that.
Or blues or purples, yeah, whatever. They'll all be dropping at a certain point now to match. So yeah, that I'm loving it now. It's really come back to life, this game.
Yeah, it's definitely better. Definitely, it's much improved. It's got a lot more legs than it has done for since the later part of Destiny.
So just really, I know it may sound boring to some people, but I think a lot of people we know have gone back to this and just it's like it's a new game again, isn't it?
Well, I mean, also there are people who have just started on Destiny 2. People like Prudy who not played it much on the previously. And for some reason, he's picked it up now, and he's doing 6 characters. He's doing them on PlayStation and Xbox. So it shows that it's obviously got some legs. And anybody who hasn't played it for a while, you should go back and have a look at it. Although you're not going to get the full benefit of the moments of triumph now, because it's getting towards the end of that. Is it the 28th that finishes?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so not much longer. It's only just over a week.
And for 2 of those, I'm not going to be in the house.
Yeah.
So, more imperative that we do what we do. But yeah, we haven't got much more to say at the moment, but I've just been loving it. I've been trying to tidy up my armour a bit because I make sure I've got certain sets there. So I've been sort of grilling. I had about 200 shards, which I've knocked down to about none now because I've been just upgrading them, tweaking them. I had a couple of bits missing, which I was able to just go and buy at the vendors, like on Mars and places like that. So just getting a few of those armours on sets at the moment, and just getting everything, get everything ready for when the weapons change, because I don't know what. I've got a bit of an idea of some of the weapons that we're going to keep, some of them are not. So some are going to be pretty much useful at one point, especially when the new light levels and everything else kicks in, which is going to be. I think it's going to be. Did I hear 600? I heard. Wow,
that's a big leap, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it's going to be level 50.
Yeah, but you're probably going to be able to upgrade your levels to level 50 within about 5 seconds flat.
I think the last one was. I mean, this one here. If it wasn't for the armour, we would still fare a little bit behind.
I know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be holding on to your legendary engrams, aren't you? At the end of this.
At the moment, I've been breaking them, but I think what I would like to do is start stockpiling all the different vendors' tokens as well to see what pops out. Maybe I should start doing that now.
Well, I think it was for the EDZ. I had something on the region of about 300.
Have you used them all, or are they still there?
No, they're still there.
Okay, so I'm just still going through. My vault is nearly still full, and I've been actually weaning down doubles and triples just because some of these guns might not turn up again. So it'd be nice to just keep a set.
But the point is, it won't turn up again because it'll be no good when you're going to like level 600. It'll be like...
It'd be a sentimental reason, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But it will be like shooting, like a pea gun at them.
Pea shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good. I love it. Really good. Anything else you want to chat about?
No, it's been pretty much Destiny for me. This week as well. I have played a couple of other things, but nothing that's really worth mentioning at the moment. So
move on then.
Yeah, to movies, TV, and streaming.
Yes, let's go for it.
In quest of a better life.
Okay, so cinema releases on the chart. So 22nd of August, we've got The Spy Who Dumped Me. Now, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's Mila Kunis, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, God, okay. 24th of August, we got Blank Klansman. We have Slender Man, which most of us should know something about that. Bad Samaritan, Alpha and the Children Act. So, not a lot there to think about. Slender Man could be interesting. I remember seeing a trailer for that.
Yeah.
And that looked pretty cool.
Bit creepy, though. And especially when you look at some of the stuff that's happened in America. Because there was a young girl who was, I think she was nearly killed rather than actually, than she was killed by two friends who reckoned that the Slender Man was actually controlling her. And this is like an urban legend sort of character. So, anyway, I saw an interesting documentary on TV about it. So there we go.
Yeah, I saw. So I think I saw a documentary on Netflix for it.
Yeah, I think there might have been probably the same one. Probably just doing the rounds. Shall I do the charts?
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
So DVD charts then. Down from number 4 to number 5 is Thor Ragnarok. In at number 4 is The Death of Superman. This is the animated one that's based on the graphic novel stroke comic strip, which I really quite fancy actually. In at number 3 is Isle of Dogs. Down from number 1 is Pacific Rim Uprising, and I have watched this week, so I'll say some of my thoughts about that. And at number 1, new entry, no surprising, it's Ready Player One.
Of course. So, not much there really to talk about, to be honest. I think we've chatted about Ready Player One, Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. Pacific Rim Rising, well, you can tell us about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Movies this week, I haven't really watched a lot. I've still got a certain Marvel movie to sit and watch, but I just haven't had the time. But I've had this on my Skybox for a little while, but I decided to sit down and watch the Kingsman Golden Circle.
Yeah.
Although I knew what I was letting myself in for with this, I tried to just think, well, it's going to be rubbish. So it might sound better, if you know what I mean. And it was all right. It didn't have that same...
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, it's a good word to use. Yeah, it just didn't have it.
No.
And as much as we had some of the characters we're familiar with, and we had obviously the American version of Kingsman.
Statesman.
Yeah, Statesman. All round to do with their alcohol.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was an okay movie. I think they realised the mistakes they made in this one, and so they are going to do another one. So hopefully they'll think about maybe coming back to, how the other one, the original panned out. But it's a shame. I'm not going to say who died in this, but I was a bit shocked about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe the dog died.
What, the robotic dog?
No.
Because there was two of them.
JB.
Oh, right, okay.
JB. So, but yeah, it was sort of enjoyable. I just sort of just listened and watched, and there were some good little moments in it that help you remember from the first movie.
Yeah. And
some interesting moments in Glastonbury. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that.
I have to admit, I really liked Whiskey in it. Pedro Pascal's character. He was the one with the whip.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was also on Game of Thrones as well. Just
okay,
point that out. Yeah, he is, but on a season later than what you've seen.
Okay.
But
yeah, because it's funny because the other character I thought was in it a lot wasn't it very long, and he ended up getting poisoned and then put in the freezer.
Yeah, but don't you
that's
think that Whiskey was based on Burt Reynolds from Smokey and the Bandit?
There's a good possibility there on his looks.
Yeah, I think he was modelled entirely on it, and to be honest, he actually looked like a young Burt Reynolds. Did Pedro when he was doing it? It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not as good as the first one, but it's still not an unenjoyable movie.
No, it was okay. There's a lot of crash bang wallop stuff as usual,
and the opening sequences are really good.
Yeah,
it just dips a bit downhill, but some of the stuff that the Whiskey character does with the rope, especially when it becomes electrified, like there's that guy who's jumping at him, and then he just does a lasso round him, and then pulls it, and he just slices it in half. Yeah. That was so.
I mean, the burger scenario. Well, okay, I'm not sure that would taste very nice, but
I'm sure that there's a lot of carnivores who would disagree with you.
Yeah, no, that was all bones and everything else that was minced in that and that mincer. But yeah, it was okay. It was a bit slapsticky there, but
the whole thing was, and also Elton John. he was quite amusing in that, especially when he started doing the fighting himself.
Is Saturday night all right for fighting?
Yeah, because Elton John is in this. He's been kidnapped by the bad guy, and when he realises that the Kingsmen are there to save the world, he takes on some of the bad guys as well, and he's doing all kung fu. And I never ever thought I would see Elton John doing a Morpheus sort of thing,
but dressed like Tweety Pie.
Oh God, yeah. What was he dressed like? He was in one of his old costumes, wasn't it, from stage?
Something very similar, yeah. But it's something else I've watched. I've watched episode 5, and this is Mark Kermode's Secrets of Cinema.
All right, okay.
So he's going the one I watched, the one on horror, which is very interesting. There's one on sci-fi, one on rom-coms. They're about an hour long.
Yeah.
So if you like your movies and your ins and outs and that's a pretty good show to watch. So other than that, what else? There's not a lot. I can't think. I've been watching a bit of old TV if I'm just sitting there for a bit. I've actually sat through more Grey's Anatomy this week than I've ever watched ever. That's only because there's nothing worth watching, and I let them say, "You carry on watching your show. I'll just turn my phone on." But yeah. There's not a lot going on at the moment.
No. Well, I've been watching The Leftovers, which is on Sky Box.
Which is probably the stuff that I haven't watched yet that I need to watch.
Yeah, actually, I think that you do need to watch this, to be honest, because it's really quite an intriguing sort of story. Basically, The Leftovers is about one day, 2% of the population just literally disappear. And 1 minute they're there, the next literally they're not there. So you'll be like people driving cars, and then they'll just suddenly disappear and the car will crash with no one in it. And so the series revolves around the people that are left over, hence the leftovers, after the very sudden disappearance. And most people are learning to cope with it and sort of move on with their lives. But there are a number of people who are in this sort of cult where they dress in white, don't talk, and smoke cigarettes all the time. So they're there and they keep turning up to public events and whatever and causing disruptions. So the show's main star is based around a local sheriff, which is played by Justin Theroux. But also this has Christopher Eccleston, as in the first Doctor Who from the new reboot of the series after the Paul McGann movie from years ago. And also Liv Tyler's in it as well. So it's got quite a good cast in there. And there's all sorts of things, sort of going on. Is this group in white doing? Where did people go? What happened to them? So, for example, Christopher Eccleston, he plays a preacher, and he's sort of trying to help everybody, and some people don't want his help and whatever. It's really, it was one of those programs. I was watching it and I was thinking, I was looking at it. I was thinking, I'm either going to like it or I'm going to hate it. And I actually liked it. So I'm really quite pleased about that. And it also goes into good backstories on characters. So you get to know sort of the events leading up to where they've gone. And then also there's this whole other sort of background story with, remember, Peep Show. Yeah. Remember I've forgotten what his name, the black guy off Peep Show's called. He's quite a big actor now. Patterson Joseph. So he's on there as well, and he's some sort of prophet kind of character.
Okay.
Which again makes it really, he plays a good part whatever he's in, because when he used to play Alan Johnson on Peep Show, the one that David Mitchell's Mark Carrigan character had a kind of man crush on, as it were, because he was always his boss. But he's an absolutely superb actor. Do you know, if they're ever going to do a black Bond, I think he would be actually a good choice as well. That's a sideline. So he's on there, and he's sort of this prophet who can seemingly take away people's pain from, the events that happened. Yeah. But he's also doing this weird thing of he's impregnated multiple women, and then he's on the run from the law, and he then gets other people to go on the run from the law because he's linked to them and stuff like that. So that's all another sideline going. And obviously it doesn't actually get realised in the whole show. So, yeah, it's an interesting sort of concept of a show. I'm hoping there's going to be a season 2 for it because I've really enjoyed it, but it's on Sky box sets at the moment, so you can certainly watch it on there. Really, really enjoyed that as a show. It's very adult in terms of the content, so it's not the type of thing you'd watch with the kids.
Okay.
But it's an adult show, so what can you say? My next one is A Quiet Place. So this one is a post-apocalyptic world where a family is forced to live in silence, basically, while they hide from these alien creatures that are roaming the earth who have ultra-sensitive hearing.
I've heard a lot of good things about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. John Krasinski is on the new... Is it Jack Ryan TV series?
Yes, it is, yeah. They're married, you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah.
But John Krasinski, he was also Martin Freeman in the American Office. He was the equivalent of Martin Freeman's character. So just in case you don't know who he was. So, everybody's sort of like living in isolation and nobody makes, a sound. It's the most unusual sort of film to watch because most of it is in silence. Because,
that's it. And it'd been great to see it in the cinema.
Oh, yeah. You can imagine, like, people there going to munch the popcorn and then realising, actually, I can't because as soon as I do this, I'm going to go really loud.
That was right in my ear, that was.
You're welcome.
It's okay.
So, yeah. So it's really a very unusual sort of movie in that sort of respect and actually really worth watching. I completely enjoyed that as a film. Loved it. Really good. Definitely recommend it to anybody who wants to see that. The next one is, I think I might have actually got a new guilty pleasure movie.
Well, this is like Transformers, though, isn't
Well, it is, but the last one I've got this week is Pacific Rim Uprising. Now, this, I think, pretty much has been more or less universally slated, and I think it's had a bit of an injustice, to be quite honest with you. I'm not saying that this is in any way ever going to win any form of award at all.
No.
Because it's not that sort of movie for a start off. But basically, this is the follow-on to the original Pacific Rim, where you've got Jake Pentecost, who's the son of Stacker Pentecost, who was played by Idris Elba in the first movie. He reunites with Makomori to lead a new generation of Jaeger pilots, which is like the big robots. And he finds like this 15-year-old hacker who's built her own Jaeger and stuff like that. So the idea is that the Earth is now prepared for the kaiju threat to, come back, and the Earth's been preparing for ages. So, there's more, more kaijus all over the world, etc. And what's happened is a Japanese company has now invented a remote controlled one where they can be stationed all over the place. Apart from the fact that not all is as it seems, and that then results in a new breach being raised between the worlds and more kaiju coming through, as well as some armoured kaiju. So I'll let you find out how that happens. But yeah, to be honest, it's one of those movies of if you watch it for what it is, which is just a bit of fun action movie, it's absolutely fine. And to be honest, at least John Boyega has something to do in this movie that doesn't involve anything being pointless.
I wondered if he was going to bring him up.
Yeah, because he's in there. So, he plays Idris Elba's son in the movie. And, he's quite enjoyable, in that role as well. I don't think he's actually a bad actor at all. But we've already talked about that other film that he was in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I actually enjoyed this. I never took it seriously. It was certainly better than what I was expecting when people were saying it's the worst movie I've ever seen or whatever. It's certainly not that. It's just, it does nothing new than the first one does, to be honest. It's just a continuation of the story. And as long as you take it as that, it's fine, in my opinion. So, yeah, there you go. That's all I really want to say about that. So, switch your brain off, just go and enjoy it and chill out and just take it for what it is.
Okay, so we're going to skip the debate this week.
We are, because
we're going to keep that when we get a bit more time.
Yeah, we're keeping it on ice, guys.
Yeah, it won't melt.
Yeah.
And we'll go straight through to questions.
Okay.
John, what's happening to us?
So, as usual, we'll start with Mark. He's got a couple for us this week. The first one is there one thing that you will instantly turn you off a game or a movie? Anything you come across, you think about? Anything
that I can think of that would turn me off straight away. Crafting in games generally means my interest dwindles quite considerably.
Why do I think you would say
that? And
that?
Especially when it's going and collecting resources. It's just, it's like you might as well be going and collecting 100 feathers and giving it to some chick in a bedroom in, some place in Rome.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing. And then also, any film that has the name Rian Johnson attached to it is the second.
Okay.
Because of what he did to Star Wars. I've no interest in seeing anything that he ever does again, to be honest. Even if he does a new Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah. One thing that I think, do reviews ever put you off gaming at all? Or do you think, I'll still give it my own, I'll wait till I get to play it? Or even in movies, actually. Does that, any of those, do you ever get to hear about a bad review and think, well, I might give that a wide berth or not?
Well, what about Pacific Rim? So obviously not. Because, that was pretty much slated and I enjoyed it. So, I personally, I think that what you've got to do is you've got to listen to what people say, but also take into account your own sort of sense and things.
Yeah. Because
I think that the same can be said the opposite way around, where it's people are super hyped about it. Thinking about Fallout 4, for example, I'm not going to diss it. I'm just saying it as a fact.
Yeah, as an example.
Yeah, as an example, everybody was posting pictures about it and whatever. I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do it. Just do it. I'll enjoy it. And I hated it. So just because other people like it doesn't mean that you're going to. And just because other people don't like it doesn't mean you're not going to. So I think you just got to take it into a bit of context, really.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, gaming point of view, what turns me off? There's nothing there to turn me off. I think I wait for my own. I wait for the reviews, maybe, or if it's something I know I'm going to love straight off the back, I will normally just dive in there, like Fallout probably or something like that. It's, I think what I do have a bit of a turn off at the moment has been Telltale games. I've been sort of distancing myself from those.
I would argue they're not games. I would argue they're interactive stories. To be honest, yeah. I don't think of them as a game. I think of them as a story, and that's why I enjoy. If I thought of them as a game, they're terrible.
Yeah,
but you look at them as what they are, which is a story where you make some decisions at strategic places, and they're more enjoyable.
Okay.
Just personal opinion,
Yeah. From the movie point of view, if it's got Star Wars in the title, that's just the biggest turn off at the moment.
You were going to say that as well. In a matter of fact, I almost said it for you.
It's true, though, at the moment, honestly. And I saw one of my friends is at Disney in Orlando at the moment, and she took some video footage on Instagram or somewhere, and it was a parade of stormtroopers. And I'm thinking, how the world's changed.
Yeah.
That's not Disney, is it?
No. To be honest, that's Fox. Or 20th Century Fox, isn't it? It's not Disney.
Yeah.
So.
It's, I don't know.
Maybe we're just getting old, mate.
I'm getting a bit grumpy as well. Anyway, do you want to do your second question?
Okay, so do you buy into any of the franchises that have annual releases?
Is that yes? The word comes to mind.
It is your destiny.
I think that's a bit obvious, really. Isn't
It is, yeah.
If you love a game that much, it's like whether it's going to be Assassin's Creed type or is it going to be a Fallout, if that's your bag, Red Dead Redemption.
But that's not annual, though, is it?
No, I suppose they're not annual. I suppose there's some there that I just don't buy into anymore, like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
and
I have to admit, in terms of the annual stuff, you're talking about FIFA, which you do buy into, even though you've got EA access, and I never understand why. Call of Duty, Battlefield. Are there any other real big releases? Destiny,
Assassin's Creed.
That did have a break. Although, technically speaking, it had more games released in its break year for Assassin's Creed than it did in a year than it was actually getting a release.
I mean, there was somehow a new Assassin's Creed that you could still play at the time.
Yeah, every 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so Assassin's Creed. So, Destiny and Assassin's Creed for me, it used to be COD for the campaign, not for the multiplayer. But recently, I'm getting more and more interested in Battlefield and less interested in COD now they've got rid of the single player. That, for me.
Okay. Yeah, annual releases have changed for me over the years. I used to always play Call of Duty. And obviously Assassin's Creed, which I might, depending on what's coming, we know what's coming out this year, I might put a couple of them on hold this year.
I'm certainly going to wait for some of them to be the more budget end of the market for me to pick them up.
Yeah.
I think for me, to be honest, my priorities, certainly for the next 12 months, are a new graphics card for my PC, like a 1080, to get that 4K capability on the PC as well. But also, I want a better controller for the PS4, and I'm looking at, when it's released, the Scuff Vantage, because it's an Xbox style, but built by Scuff for the PlayStation. It has the trackpad on as well.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But I will have to mortgage my house and sell my soul to Satan in order to be able to afford it.
But you know, sell your wife.
No, they'd return her because they said she made too much racket talking.
Oh, God. Okay.
Great call.
Yeah, so Craig's saying, if you could amend the storyline of any movie sequel, which film would you change and why?
So he's also said he would change Alien 3 because he was gutted that they killed off Bishop Newton Hicks. Spent the previous movie cheering for them to survive, only to have them die prior to the 3 starting. So sad. And upon learning of Hicks' demise, demand has been received for much money for the use of the likeness in one of the scenes, as he's been paid for his role in Aliens.
Can you think of anything you'd like to change anywhere?
Not in a sequel, other than... Actually not. We've already done The Last Jedi.
We know what you're going to say.
We've already done The Last Jedi. I'm not going to do that because that's the obvious hit. Okay? I'm not going to talk about a sequel because other than just not filming The Crystal Skull at all and just leaving it at a trilogy, I don't think you could do really much with the Indiana Jones ones. Maybe improve Temple of Doom a little bit. And I'm not quite happy with all of the other ones. What I would do is, in terms of one movie, is resequence most of the story. And that is in the film Passengers.
I was pretty happy with it as it came out.
It was edited the wrong way around. Because what they did was they had you develop a emotional attachment to Chris Pratt as this guy who was stranded on the ship. Yeah? And then he woke Jennifer Lawrence and she was completely in raptures, about him after a little while, and then found out what he'd done. Now, if that film was resequenced and it started with Jennifer Lawrence being woken up to this guy who, looked quite buff and whatever, and then all these little points started unpicking, and then she found out that he'd woken her, that gives that film a very, very different vibe, and it gives it from her perspective, because that was the only, that was the main jeopardy in that movie, was it wasn't the stuff that was going on with the ship when it was, bust. It was her, realization that she was stuck with this man who had woken her up, done God knows what around her pod that she was in and whatever. And then after, when she's found out, then in some way find a way to do a flashback of what happened to him. So reverse the characters around. You do that, you've actually got a film that's got more depth and more emotional drama in it by not changing any of the footage, just resequencing it. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Your opinion, yeah. You can have your opinion on any film you want.
Yeah. So, but I think that would work a lot better than the way that it was shot. And I love the film, don't get me wrong, but it just lacked something. Because you should have been a bit creeped out by Chris Pratt, where you weren't, you were sympathetic towards him, but that would have made you be creeped out by him and then bring in the sympathy. And I think that would have been a better emotional journey than the way that it worked.
Yeah. I'd like to just get a film here and just take it out of existence, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
well, we've done The Last Jedi.
No. We did that. No. I'm going completely off tangent. You wouldn't even guess what film I'm talking about. You couldn't even. If I said, what film do you think I want to just rewrite that didn't exist, and you won't be able to get it anyway. So, being a great Supermarionation fan for Jerry Anderson, I would like to just grab hold of Jonathan Frank and just never make that
Thunderbirds movie, yeah.
Because really, what they could have done so much more with that idea, and it was awful. The only best bit about it was Parker and Lady Penelope. That was the only bit, because you got two great actors there, in my opinion. But it's just such a shame that it did all right with the kids. Don't get me wrong. I think I had I probably even still have a DVD copy of the kids loved it.
Yeah.
At the time, but for us that have lived with those things over the years, just so disappointed.
But the thing is, it's taking something. To me, this is exactly like the treatment of Bond and all of these other things. It's taking something out of the context that it was originally meant to be, and that then means that the hardcore or the older fans like you and me then have difficulty with it and don't like it.
Because it could have been a bit darker, maybe. But it was too squeaky clean. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Thunderbirds, even the puppet series, may have been that to a certain degree, but it didn't work at all.
No, it was a terrible film. And to be honest, personally, I'm not that fond of Jonathan Frakes as a director. No, as a direct series. I think he does TV all right.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved with the Borg, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
in that movie.
But didn't he also direct one of Discovery? I seem to remember. I don't know.
And he's actually and he's actually doing some of the Orville at the moment.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, he was doing that. But he's not been my favourite director, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the direction of Thunderbirds, to be honest, doesn't make a diddly squat to me at the moment, because that film in the way it was put together. And I think probably if Jerry Anderson was probably, as much as he gave the permission, he'd probably turn his grave a bit, to be honest, on how that turned out.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was allowed, he wanted to give more input, or I'm not too sure how that was all about, but, it just didn't work. I'm really disappointed, to be honest. Because I've got such fond memories as a child of watching Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And some of the other TV shows of that ilk. And Joe 90 is 50 years old this year.
Yeah, what been on before he's Joe 90 at 90 years old.
Yeah. We won't go into his age now, but do you know what I mean? That was me anyway. You got to do Chris's question?
Okay, so Chris Pedersen. If your life was made into a movie, what famous person, alive or dead, would you want to play your role?
Have you got one for you?
I've got one for you.
I'm doing my own. I'd say Jack Nicholson for me.
I'd have said Telly Savalas.
Telly, just because I got a bald head. Yeah, right. Okay.
I could have imagined that.
Who loves you, baby?
Yeah, exactly. So Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Oh, it's a difficult one, that. I would like to think an actor, someone like Hugh Jackman or Harrison Ford, but I'd probably end up getting Ron Atkinson in the Mr. Bean outfit.
That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so I'll do Nikki's one next because this is quite interesting from last
Yes,
week.
especially with your revelation about Bridget Jones. I've read the book.
Books.
Oh, sorry. You're going down again, man. Behave.
I know, right. So, what's your favourite chick flick? Now, his is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay.
I know mine straight off. Should we just start? One of my favourites is Notting Hill. I love that movie.
Do you know what? I have to say it. That was mine.
Really?
Really? There's something about the idea of being Hugh Grant and having...
I love Hugh Grant. He's brilliant.
Yeah, and being told, at the end of the day, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her.
Yeah.
And let's face it, who wouldn't want her to say that to you?
Yeah. But it's just a great film. I do own it on DVD at some point.
Yeah, I've got it as well.
And I've got the soundtrack on CD somewhere as well.
Really? I think there's only about 3 films that you don't have the soundtrack for, isn't there? And that's because I didn't produce one.
No, there is some actually. Yeah. I've still got a few. I'm still hunting down a few. What should we say? Old movies.
Yeah.
I've got a few. I'm picking up actually one of the first soundtracks I ever bought, which wasn't really a soundtrack. It was more of a compilation that wasn't even original scores. And I'm actually going to pick up a copy of that for $5 from eBay.
Mm.
I just wanted it because it was something I used to own before actually buying, as much as I did buy Jaws when it came out in '75.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the first soundtracks I bought. But as a collection goes, and with this is something I bought, which I'll wait till it turns up. I'll tell you about it. But yeah, just me. Mm. Anyway, last question. This is from Daz on Twitter. So what do you guys think of ROM sites closing down due to the illegal action being threatened? Is it okay to play Impossible? Is it okay to play Impossible to buy any games for your personal use?
Yeah. So
do you ever go down this route with ROMs?
I have, but more as sort of like a testing concept, and then just got rid. Because to be honest, I'm not really that into retro gaming that much anymore.
I mean, to be honest, I think Backcompat has taken over that now anyway.
Well, no, this is like the much earlier stuff. So
yeah, I mean, you could play, say, for example, Metal Gear Solid on a Samsung tablet doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, for me, I had a brief experiment with it in terms of looking at the RetroPie, because I was looking...
You did, yeah, that's right.
I was looking for an alternative to, well, basically resurrect some of my cartridges that weren't working. Yeah. And the RetroPie worked absolutely superb, I must admit, but it was just, it just didn't have the same feel. Can't quite explain why.
Yeah.
But, you got to be careful where you go for anyway, because half of them are highly populated with viruses and stuff like that you can download, get on your system and stuff like that. And to be honest,
I think we do it from. I think we all done this as an inquisitive more than anything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But whatever. Really, with that, it's one of those little things you get into for 10 minutes and get bored and think, well, I'll go back to playing proper games. Well,
I mean, to be honest, I can't see why anybody would have an issue with downloading something that you've got in another medium, but maybe you can't play because maybe the console's broken, for example. So, you might have the disc set, or maybe you're like the cartridge scenario that I had, where the connector wasn't working on the system anymore. That all that you're still trying to just use what you already have purchased. But I think where people just go and download wholesale loads of different stuff. Maybe that's
we have this thing is we've had this in all types of media, haven't we? Whether it's going to be movies, TV, we know what it's all about.
Yeah,
I think they clamped down more. I mean, home taping, killing music. You should see that on the album covers, in the inner sleeves, where people had their cassettes, didn't they? And they were just recording the music.
Well, yeah, and then look at MTV and people with video recorders recording the music videos rather than buying the cassettes. But they always say, it ruins the industry. Really? Well, how come we still got a music industry?
Yeah, and it's thriving as much as it ever has done at the moment.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think things like where you can't actually buy the game anymore. What's that about? Because you might be able to go into sex and buy it from there. But the only people that you're giving money to is Sexits, not to the original manufacturer of the game.
Yeah.
So, why? Why is that allowed? But going to a website and downloading something that you can't buy, not allowed. I mean, I know why. I know why. Don't get me wrong. I know why it's, but it's an irony.
It's a crazy digital world we live in now. Anyway, so things have changed tremendously from people that maybe not, our age. How you've seen the progression of media.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but yeah, there you go. Anyway, I think that time is calling now.
Yes, indeed.
So, would you like to do your outro?
My outro. Okay, so to contact me, you can look at my YouTube channel where I've got unboxings, Star Wars videos, and God knows what else on there, and lots of gameplay videos and that sort of thing. So just do a search for Haydn Rhys-Jones. You can follow me on Twitter at HRJUK. On PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, and just about any other gaming system, I'm also HRJUK, and my email is hrjuk@popculturegamers.co.uk.
So, Twitter and Xbox, pretty much similar, but at Steve07 and Steve07 for my gamer tag. PSN ID is the real Steve07. Email at steve07@popculturegamers.co.uk. My YouTube channel is picking up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I've got a fight between Jurassic Park and The Last of Us Part 2 for the most views. And suddenly out of nowhere, The Last of Us Part 2 has come right in front. Really weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, there's movies and soundtracks on there. If you're listening, pleasure if that's your bag. That's about it, really.
Yeah, we also have a YouTube channel as well.
Yes.
It's already got the shows on at the moment, but I'm starting to link in some other stuff that I'm doing as well, so you'll be able to see it on there as well. We need more subscribers and that, though, so that we can name the channel to what we want to call it. So if you're not haven't subscribed already, go over there, go onto YouTube, type in Pop Culture Gamers, find our channel, and then please subscribe so that we can then name the channel and make it a little bit easier for all of us. We also have Facebook group Pop Culture Gamers as well, and our website popculturegamers.podbean.com.
So plenty there
to be going at.
So all it left us to do is say it's a good night from me,
and it's a good night from him.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.